question 1. 2x minus 5 is equal to 6. We have to solve and find the value of x. We have to isolate the x. We have to put the x by itself to find out what the value of the x is. So before I start the question, I'm going to do a bit of side working out here on the right. What does 2x minus 5 equal to 6 mean? It means 2 lots of x, or 2 times x minus 5 is equal to 6. Now we don't know what this x is. It's 2 lots of something. So we'll come back to this in a second, okay? Would it not make more sense to try and get rid of this minus 5? How do you get rid of minus 5? What is the opposite of minus 5? Well, if we add 5 here, it would get rid of the minus 5. But to make sure the equation stays balanced and that we don't change the question, I will also have to add 5 to this side. We're allowed to do that. Now I'm going to continue with my working out on the left as you should. So we just said we're going to add 5 to both sides, and this, what I'm writing inside the circle, eventually with practice you won't have to do anymore. So 6 add 5 is 11. The minus 5 and the plus 5 here cancels out, or just equals 0. The negative sign doesn't matter because it's just a 0, and that leaves us 2x. So really I could just write 2x is equal to 11. So this is the first line that you'd write after you've got a bit of experience. So this is the first line that you'd write. What's the next thing? Well, now we want to get rid of the times 2. So at the moment it's 2 times x. So how do you get rid of the times 2? We have to divide both sides by 2. So again, what I'm doing inside the circle, with practice you will not need to do. So 11 divided by 2, we'll just write it as a fraction, 11 over 2. And then over here the times 2 and the divide 2 cancels out, leaving just the x by itself. So again, as I explained, what I've written in the circle you won't need. You will need just this line. So these 2 lines will be enough. And normally you can leave the answer as x is equal to 11 over 2, but it's probably better to leave it not as a improper fraction but as a mixed number. So 11 over 2, I'll do a bit of side working here. We've got 11 over 2, so we ask ourselves, how many times does a 2 go into 11? 2 goes into 11 exactly 5 times. We copy the fraction sign, we copy this 2 back here again. So 2 times 5, the 2 times the 5 is equal to 10, and the remainder to get to 11 is 1. So the answer is 5.5. So 11 divided by 2, or 11 over 2, as a mixed number would be written as 5 and a half. So this is our answer. So only the lines I've underlined here would actually be required in your working out. And with practice, that's all you have to write. Now it's always good to substitute your answers to check. So we said x is equal to 5. So if we assume to be correct, so we'd write 2 times 5.5 is 11, and then take away 5, and the answer is 6. So we were correct. Notice also that every time I wrote the equal sign, like here and here and here, I try to keep them in a straight line like this. This is good for your presentation, and it will help you to keep your work tidy. Question 2a. So we want to solve each of these. So for question A, we want the v by itself. So only thing that we have to worry about is the negative 17 here. So how do we get rid of negative 17? We have to add 17 to both sides. Now there's no harm in doing a bit of side working, so you could write 28 here, and you could write 17 and then add it using the column method. So 8 add 7 is 15, so you write the 5 down, carry the 1 add 2 is 3 add 1 is 4, which is 45. Well, if you want to do it mentally in your head, it's the same as saying 28 add 10 is 38, add 7 is 45. So 28 add 7 is 45. So obviously the minus 7 and the plus 7 cancelled out, so we've just got the V left. So V is equal to 45. Now we're going to do B, question B. So at the moment it's 6 times W is equal to 54. That's exactly the same as writing W times 6 is equal to 54. So we want to get rid of this times 6. So what's the opposite of times 6? It's divide 6. So we're going to divide by 6 here, and we're going to divide by 6 here, given the equal sign in line. So what's 54 divided by 6? It's 9, and the W here, and sorry, and the 6 here, and the times 6 and the divide 6 cancels out, leaving us just W. So W is equal to 9. I forgot to mention in the earlier question, it's always best to check your working out. So here we said V is equal to 45. So is 45 take away 17, 28? Yes, it is. And in this question, is 6 times 9 equal to 54? Yes, it is. So substitute both of them and found and confirmed that they were correct. The last question that we're going to do is question C. So we've got 58 equals to 8x plus 2. Now we want this x on its own, so a bit of side working here. We've got 58 is equal to 8 times x plus 2. So we've got 8 less of something plus 2 is equal to 58. So it makes sense, makes my life a lot more easier if I just take away the 2 from both sides. So I'll continue the working out here. I'm going to take away 2 from here, I'm going to take 2 away from here, which will equal to, or leave me with just 8x on the right hand side, because the plus 2 and the minus 2 have cancelled out. And on the left hand side, the 58 take away 2 is 56. So 56 is equal to 8x. Now bit of side working here. This means 56 is equal to 8 times x, which is exactly the same as saying 56 is equal to x times 8. So what we want to do now, to isolate the x or keep the x by itself, we're going to get rid of this times 8. So how do you get rid of times 8? You have to divide by 8. So we'll divide by 8 on this side, and we'll divide by 8 on this side. So what's 56 divided by 8? 7. And over here, the times 8 and the divided cancel out, leaving me with just x. So we think x is equal to 7. So always better check it out. What's 8 times 7? Because we think x is equal to 7. 8 times 7 is 56. Add to 58, and that is correct. So x is indeed 7. And sometimes best, also I forgot to mention, is just to underline your final answer, so it's clear for the examiner to see what the final answer is. Question 3a, solve. So part 1, we want to get or solve x when x plus 7 is equal to 18. So something at 7 is equal to 18. So something at 7 is balancing 18. So what we need to do is we need to subtract 7 from here and we're going to subtract 7 here. So with experience and after you've done a few questions, you don't really need to write this, what I'm writing with a green pen now. So what's 18 take away 7? It's 9. And on this side, so on the right hand side of the equal sign, so I can just write the equal sign here. And on the left hand side, the plus 7 and the minus 7 cancelled out, so x is equal to 9. Sorry, I was meant to say, so we're going to take away 7, we're going to take away 7, so 18 take away 7 is 11, so x is equal to 11. And in a way it's a good thing I made that mistake, because under exam pressure you can make a mistake. And how did I spot my mistake? The way I spotted my mistake was when I went to substitute my value for x. So here with my correct answer, 11 add 7 is equal to 18. Now I know I'm correct. The previous answer, 9 add 7, would not have given me 18. So this is why it's important to always check your answer by substituting. Part 2, and also this is important in the exam because we always under pressure and we might make a mistake. So it's always best if you've got a few minutes at the end to substitute and check all your answers over. And finally, don't forget to underline your answer. So then we've got part 2, which is 25 is equal to 3x plus 1. So what does that really mean? On the side here, we'll do some side working out. 25 is equal to 3 lots of unknowns, or 3 times x plus 1. So we'll leave this to one side for time being, 3 times x, and we're going to try and deal with this plus 1 first. So it's easy. We can just take away 1 from this side to get rid of this plus 1, and we'll take away 1 from this side. So going back to my normal working out, I will take 1 away from both sides. That leaves me with 3x. So don't forget I took away 1, and I'll have to take away 1 from this side. So what's 25 take away 1? It's 24. Now a bit more side working here. 24 is equal to 3 times x, which is the same as saying 24 is equal to x times 3. How do you get rid of the times 3? It's the same as, or this times 3 here, is the same as dividing by 3 on both sides. So we divide 3 here, we divide by 3 here. So that will leave us with x, because times 3 and divide to cancel out. So this is x, and 24 divided by 3 is just 8. So 8 is equal to x, or we can write that as x is equal to 8, and we'll underline our answer. Let's check if it's right. We think x is 8, so 3 times 8 is 24. Add 1 is 25, so it was correct. And notice I've underlined my answer, and I've tried to keep the equals in a straight line. This side working out you don't really need to do, it's just for me to explain in a bit more detail.